We're just going to do a quick review about fractions. You've done fractions in the 5th grade, and we're just going to do a quick review and just go over a couple things just to give you a little, tickle your brain a little bit. First of all, your fraction basics. A fraction is a number that has equal parts of a whole and has a numerator and a denominator. For example, if I'm looking at 1/2, 1 is the numerator, 2 is the denominator. So the whole part it's got 2 parts of it, and we're just talking about one of the parts. Simplest form is the fraction is in simplest form when the numerator and the denominator have only one common factor, and that's only that they don't have any other common factor besides 1. An example would be 3/5. There's nothing else that can divide into 3 and 5 to make it any simpler except for 1. Reducing fractions, you're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by their GCF. This is the reason why we did GCFs, is we want to make sure that we've got everything divided out. We find the greatest common factor between the two of them and divide it out. Now, if you're talking about proper fractions, a proper fraction is when the numerator is smaller than the denominator. For example, 3/4, 1/2, and 5/7. They are proper and they are reduced down. Improper fractions are just the opposite. It's when the numerator is larger than the denominator. For example, if I just flip these over and got their reciprocal, which we'll be talking about later, where you're going to give it 4/3, 2/1, and 7/5. And these all three are going to be improper fractions because the numerator is greater than the denominator. When we have mixed numbers, we have a whole number and a fraction meant to put together. 1 and 1/3 is a mixed number. 1 and 2/5 is a mixed number. And 3 and 10/19 is a mixed number. Let's try simplifying some of these. Remember, when we're simplifying our fractions, we are trying to find the GCF of both 10 and 12. And what we want to do is we want to come up here and say, I know that they're both even, so I know that they can both be divided by 2. And this can be divided by 2. And that's going to be 5/6. And that is in the simplest form that that fraction can be put in. Also, you've got 28/35. 28/35, I know that 28 and 35, both 7 can go into both of them, so let's start there. We're going to divide the top. Whatever I do to the top, I'm going to do to the bottom, okay, because remember, we want to keep things equal, and it's really like 7 divided by 7 is really like 1, so I'm renaming. So 28 divided by 7 is going to give me 4. And 35 divided by 7 is going to give me 5. So that is in the simplest form that it can be in. When I look at 45, I can use my divisibility rules if I want to, and I know that both 5 goes into both of these. And you need to make sure that you are looking at everything and using your divisibility rules to see if you've got the largest number possible. I know that they're both end in 5, so they're divisible by 5, so I'm going to divide the top by 5, my numerator by 5, and my denominator by 5. And I know that 5 goes into 45 9 times, okay? And I know that 5 will go into 12. It goes in there 2 times with 2 left over, so it will go in there 2 times. And I've got then 2, and bring down my 5, I've got 25, so I know that it will go into 25 5 times. So when I look at this, is there anything else? Always ask yourself, is there anything else that will go into 9 and 25? And the answer in this case is no, that this is going to be in simplest terms. Here's how you're going to write mixed numbers as improper fractions. We can change them. We can rename them. Just like all of us, we are different people, but we wear different clothing, but it doesn't change who we are. So we're going to make sure that we're going to be able to write mixed numbers into a fraction. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply the denominator of the fraction by the whole number that it's with. Then we're going to add the numerator to that product, and then the result of the sum is going to be the new numerator, and the denominator remains the same. For example, if I have got 5 and 4/7, I've got to multiply the whole number by the denominator, and then I'm going to take that number, that product, and add it to 4. And 7 is going to stay my denominator. So I'm going to say 7 times 5 is 35. I know that. 35 plus 4 is going to be 39. And of course, I'm keeping my denominator as 7. Again, we're going to multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add to it the numerator and keep 3 as its denominator. So I'm going to say 3 times 11 is 33. 33 plus 2 is 35. And 35 divided by 3, or 35 thirds. Here I've got 3 1/4. Don't forget, I'm going to multiply the denominator and the whole number and add to it the numerator and keep my 4 as my denominator. So I'm going to say 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13, and I'm going to keep 4 as my denominator. So each one of these are called an improper fraction. It's just another way of writing that mixed number. Okay? Now, we're going to do just the opposite now, where it's how do you write an improper fraction as a mixed number, where we're going to do exactly opposite of what we just did. You're going to divide the numerator by the denominator, just like it is. A fraction, we've always said, is the same thing as a division problem. And the quotient becomes the whole number, and the remainder becomes the numerator. And the denominator is going to stay the same. Let's try a couple of these. If I know I've got 42 divided by 11, and I'm going to read it from top to bottom, and this is just like your division sign here, I'm going to say 42 divided by 11, okay? And I know 11 will go into this 33 times. If I said 3 times, it's 33. If I say 4 times, it's 44, which is a little bit more than 42. So I know it will go in there 33 times. 3 times 11 is 33. And when I subtract 42 minus 33, it's going to give me 9. My remainder is 9, so this is going to end up being 3. Remember, my quotient is my whole number. This is the quotient. 9 is my remainder. It becomes my numerator, and my denominator is going to stay as 11, which is also the divisor. You're going to do the same thing here with the 18/5. I'm going to take 18, and I'm going to divide into it 5, and I know that 5 times 3 gives me 15, so 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract 15 from 8, and I get 3. 3 is going to be my new numerator. 3 is my whole number. This is where I got my whole number from, is up here in the quotient, okay? 3 is going to be my new numerator, and I had a 5 as my denominator, so that stays as 5. Here I've got 15 divided by 3. Well, we all know that 15 divided by 3 will go into it evenly. 3 goes into 15 and even 5 times, which is going to give us 15. So there is no fraction, no anything that goes with it. It just turns out to be whole number 5. All right, hope this helped kind of jiggle your memory about some things and some reminders that you've got to do with fractions. See you tomorrow.